Welcome, everyone, to Courageous Creative Conquerors. This is Jean Voiced Dart. It's my belief that everyone has a gift of creative expression. We were born to express ourselves to stay healthy and happy. Whether you're planting a garden, writing a story, building a cabinet, designing a software program, sewing a scarf, or singing a song, what matters is expressing from the heart. And the creative and expressive arts are a healthy coping strategy that shifts us from trauma to triumph. So join me as we listen and learn key tips and techniques from our special guest and courageous creative conqueror. Today's Courageous Creative Conqueror is Asha Zarr, photographer. Welcome, everyone. This is Jean Voiced Dart, and I'm here with my special guest, Asha Zarr, and this is Courageous Creative Conquerors. Hi, Asha. I'm so glad that you're here.
Hi, Jean. I am as well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm really excited to get to know you. And you have a very inspiring story to tell about how you use the expressive and creative arts to help you get through struggles and trauma and triumph over that. So I'm looking forward to hearing more.
Thank you.
So if you could just start by telling us a little bit about where you're from and your heritage.
I am originally from California. I was born in England, raised in California, and I've lived in Pennsylvania now for about 30 years. I'm Black, white, Native American, and some of my family has been here since the Mayflower landed. Some of my family has been here for 12 to 14,000 years.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And is your heritage important to you?
It is, yes. It makes me feel very connected to where I am as a Native American, as someone with mostly British or heritage from Great Britain. It makes me very connected to, I'm rather an Anglophile, so it gives me an understanding of that. And as a Black woman, I appreciate it because I'm underrepresented as a Black woman, and it makes me appreciate that much more the struggles of Black Americans.
Yes. And is that an important part of you as a creative artist in expressing yourself in that way?
I would say no, with the exception of my Native American self. That does come into play, like when I was up at Plymouth Plantation recently for Indigenous Peoples Day. But because I view myself primarily as an individual and a spark of light, I wasn't really raised with a huge awareness of my heritage, so it doesn't have those overtones.
Yes. Can you tell me a little bit about your childhood growing up and how did you experience yourself creatively as a creative spark as a child growing up?
As a child, I was a bookworm. I did not express myself creatively, even though I did take flute lessons, and my flute playing was very breathy. I never had that clear sound. Mm-hmm. And I did have a teacher outside of school, but when I read, I went other places, I experienced other things. I was at the bus stop one time waiting for the junior high school transport, and something happened and I had literally gone somewhere else. So I think that fueled my creativity, being able to inhabit other worlds, and that definitely has played a part in my creativity, being able to connect with the different images and
I
things that I
think most
photograph.
definitely. I love the way you describe that, you know, to be able to have a different viewpoint and look beyond the physical world. I think that's so important for a creative artist. So were there people in your family who were creative and supported you or inspired you?
Well, my stepmom plays piano. My grandfather, her father, played the organ and the accordion, and her mother played piano. So I was surrounded by a lot of classical music growing up because I took a lot of trips with them during the summertime as they were teachers. Um, I did have grandparents who were very creative, but I did not know that until maybe the last 5 years.
Oh,
So that
okay.
was a surprise.
And how are they very creative?
Well, it turns out that my maternal grandmother was a Massachusetts South Shore artist. And she had a rare way of actually putting photographs into kiln-made objects or
Mm-hmm.
onto kiln. And that was pretty special. She had her own art studio. It was huge. She had students, everything. And as it turned out, my grandfather was also a photographer and he developed his own film in a closet at home. And this was all a surprise to me. And I learned it after I connected with a cousin through Ancestry and Facebook. And once I began taking photos, I learned this from my family.
That's amazing. And, you know, I know you and you're just a phenomenal photographer. And I'm so excited that we're going to be able to share some of your photography. So, what a great find that you found out that your ancestors were interested in that as well. That's exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is called Courageous Creative Conquerors. And when I interview people, they tell me what they've gone through in their lives, and all of us have our own challenges and traumas and struggles, and how the creative expressive arts have helped them get through those times and how they lean on it, you know, when they move forward. So can you share with us any kind of challenges that you had growing up and how the creative arts have helped you?
Yes. I experienced abuse growing up and subsequent gaslighting, um, being told that we did this because you made us do this and you weren't abused, or I'm sorry, but this is how I was raised and I was not abused.
Mm.
I studied nursing. You know, there are some very specific things that social workers and nurses learn are abuse, and those things happen to me. When I take photos, I take them with love.
Mm-hmm.
And there are photos which I take that make me look beyond myself into other worlds, whether I'm interacting with an insect, whether I'm taking a photo of a building and thinking about the architecture and the inspiration, or taking a photo of a homeless person, and I've been homeless, and thinking, what are my worries when I want this person to matter? You know, it's about looking at other stories out there, and that helps to put mine in perspective, and it helps me connect to a larger, greater world than the one I inhabit.
So, so you shared something that's kind of painful, you know, to hear. My heart goes out to you and your life journey. What kind of emotions did you experience, and how has that affected you now as an adult growing up? What kind of feelings or emotions did you have to deal with? Uh,
I felt that my birth mom had abandoned me
So
until
abandonment is a feeling that you had.
yes,
Yeah.
I had it until I realized that she never had abandoned me.
Mm-hmm.
And that, yes, she had gone north from San Francisco and dropped me off at my dad's, but that she had not abandoned me per se. She was giving me to another parent. And I
Mm-hmm.
actually felt far more abandoned because she did keep visiting me. I felt far more abandoned when I realized that being told by my stepmother that I could only have one mommy and I had to choose. My mother was visiting at the time, and I had made the prudent choice to only call my stepmother mommy because I was living with her. And I felt that I kind of made a choice that ended up making my mother feel abandoned.
Mm.
And that really flipped everything over on its
Oh, I
head.
see. You know, so often as children, we make decisions at such a young age. You're talking at a very young age, and then later we carry the weight of the decision, and we really aren't responsible as small children in what we do.
Right.
Yeah. So I understand carrying that shame or guilt or feeling badly for our parents or this or that, but as we grow, we have to heal those feelings and let go and realize we can't be responsible for feelings that we carried as a child, you know, or what we did that may have affected our parents or family. Yeah. So now you've taken those feelings growing up and you found this way, and you found a way to go into other worlds and connect with what you see and make that community connection. You and I talked earlier about you have this real connection with insects because of what you went through as a child. You have this connection with them because they communicate. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. I read a lot as a child, and it would allow me to inhabit a multitude of different worlds and place myself there. And when I started taking photos of carpenter bees, it was the most heart-opening thing. I know a lot of people don't like bees.
I do.
Lost.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah.
I found when I opened my heart to them and observed them, I learned so much, and I requested to be in their space. I had a dream one night, I didn't tell you about this, where this golden being surrounded by bees basically gave me permission to be there. And I woke up and I thought, wow, that was the queen bee. Like that to me was
Oh,
spirit of bee colonies saying, we accept you.
yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, it's so interesting that you say that. I sometimes when my mind is just going and going and worrying and everything, I I have used an exercise where I tune in to the bee, to a bee, and just going, you know, just going with whatever the bee would do. Just there's no thought, there's no thinking. I'm just going. It's
Oh,
such a nice feeling to let go and commune with the bee community and flying, you know, free and being a part of that hive and community, you know. Yeah, let's take a look at just a couple of your, speaking of bees and ants and insects, let's take a look here and you can comment on that for me.
okay.
So here, I think the first one is a couple of ants. Can you see that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And what are they doing here?
You know, they had been cuddled together and I disturbed them inside of the flower. And here they were scrambling away from me. And I caught a glimpse of them before they did that. And I did not like that that had happened, but it was such a good photo op. Usually I try to leave things undisturbed, but they were so beautiful.
It is
And
beautiful.
I couldn't resist. I could not resist them.
I love it. I love ants. Okay, and let's look here. You're talking about bees and wasps and all these. Tell me about this. Oh, this is just so beautiful.
Thank you. Well, I had gone to Plymouth Plantation. I have Native American and Mayflower ancestry, as well as Black ancestry. So this is in Massachusetts, and I'd gone up there to see the Wampanoag village and check out different Mayflower things. And on my way out, it struck me how beautiful it was, but nobody was looking at the grounds as much as they were looking at the exhibit. And I came upon this echinacea flower with the most amazing bee on it. I'd never seen a metallic looking bee. And it just captured my heart. The eyeballs actually have some kind of jade green design, and I was mesmerized. And because I was very quiet and I kept my distance, it went on about its business, and I got to see it in a lot of different juxtaposed positions. And
it's beautiful. Yeah, the eyes do look like jade. It's amazing. Very
I was
bright.
very privileged.
Yes, yes.
I'm always very grateful when I'm allowed into their space.
Here's another one.
The articulation here just fascinated me. This is on a broccoli plant in the early morning.
Oh, yes, I recognize it now that you said, yeah.
Yeah. And the light is a result of fog burning off and the sun coming through in Northern California.
And you do take a lot of photographs of flowers. And how does that make you feel? What do you enjoy about taking these photographs?
The closer that I can get to the heart of a flower and to its pistils and stamen, the closer I come to my own heart. I also studied nursing, and in a separate thing, I studied mosquito physio and anatomy for one of my professors for environmental health. And if I had a camera that could take microscopic photos, I wish that I could, but I try to take the entire plant, and it makes me feel amazing because I feel like I'm getting to the bare bones of what makes it and beyond the body, but to its very being. This was a very cooperative butterfly. I took this in Virginia. Tammy Atema was one of your interviewees at one point. I took this at Green Run, close to a canal where we visited.
I love monarchs. I like your black and white photos. There's something very emotional and stirring about black and white photos.
That I was at Eastern State Penitentiary, and I was trying to do a Hitchcock style photo. I like because it shows you the bare bones, like it strips almost everything away, and you can see what's left behind. It gives,
yes, I love it.
it just gives something stark and complete.
Well, it allows you the freedom to imagine or feel something that's not, that you can't see, you know.
Right. I feel like it gives the bare bones.
Yes.
Yeah. Now that shimmer is from the flower itself. I wish I knew what kind of flower it is. It's very common, but I really appreciated how in black and white the shimmer came out.
Yes, it looks like glitter.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yes. Pansies are a favorite of mine.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a garden where you live?
I live close to Temple University, and I go downtown, and the landscaping is beautiful at both places, as well as University City in Philadelphia and at the Art Museum and various other places.
I like this one where you can see the little hair on on the flower. It's just so microscopic, just so lovely.
Thank you. And that reminds me of fiber arts too. When I see that on flowers, I just think how interconnected all matter is. And I just love it that at the heart of everything, there are all these similarities, because form can only come from, the materials we have, the chemical materials.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all common in their own different ways. But
Yeah.
then the forms they take are so varied and amazing. That was at a flower show. And it was a Japanese inspired exhibit within the flower show. And I was kind of trying to share that simplicity.
How long have you been taking photographs?
I believe I've been taking them for less than 5 years. I take them all with my cell phone, an older version of a Samsung, and I began taking them because I had a nudge to start doing something artistic. And the things I was looking at, like canvas and whatnot, at art stores weren't doing it for me. And one evening, I woke up from a dream in which I was being instructed in the art of photography. And this went on for a good while. And I've had so many amazing classes, like even illuminating a cavern from maybe 200, 300 feet away, the kind of orange that you'll see in Utah, basically all of the Southwest canyons. And I love that one. He's throwing an acorn at squirrels.
Is that what he's doing? I'm glad you're commenting on this one. He's throwing an acorn.
Yes. And there are students behind in the classroom, but I just love how he and the trees almost have the same angle, like they're both
that's what I noticed. I noticed that immediately. I was, oh my goodness, the shadow of the tree branches and his arms are lined up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. This
moment. Is my favorite photo. Yes. I have it hanging on my wall.
Yeah, you should submit that. That's just so remarkable.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I'll have to ask his mom.
Oh, how lovely is that? Oh, you take a lot of pictures of flowers, and did you just suddenly find yourself really interested in studying and learning more about that?
I enjoyed microbiology. I also enjoyed studying histology. When I was in my anatomy class, I had 2, but my first one in California, we used microscopes. And I take best close-ups I can of flowers because I want to illuminate their details. I don't necessarily want to take the photos where you can see a bug's eyes in high detail.
Yes.
But I want to capture, because to me, that it's showing the anatomy of it, but it's not showing the heart. So I try to get to that point where you can see the heart.
You lose some information. Yeah.
Yeah. So I try to take what's special. Speaking of special,
tell me about this. Is this a homeless person here?
Yes, I was waiting at the bus stop. I'd gotten out of therapy, and this person I didn't even realize it was a person at first. And I was in shock when I realized that was a knee and a head. And this person was huddled trying to be as inconspicuous as possible. And of course, no one was sitting next to him or her, but I wanted this person to matter.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was passing by, going to and fro as they do in a city. And I just thought, I want this person to matter to somebody besides myself. Like, this person matters to the universe.
I love what you say. You want this person to
Portrait.
matter. That's just so beautiful. You have such a golden heart. I want this person to matter. And do you feel that way about everything that you photograph? You want it to matter? Is that why you're taking photographs?
Yes.
And you want
I want those things to matter. I want people to know that they matter. I want, when I take photos of again, bees, wasps, insects, to show my appreciation for them in the process of doing it. This is Independence Hall in Philadelphia. It's one of our landmarks, and I just loved what the sun was doing, going in and out of the clouds.
Oh,
so
yes.
This is City Hall in Philadelphia, and this is the very top where they have screens to keep birds from flying in.
Oh.
And you can't really tell, but that is a person's face, and that is a pole for a light over there. And I just loved the shape of that.
Yes.
So that person, it's not shaped that way. There's an arc, but the human being, I don't remember if it was male or female or a they, just happened to be right there, and that's a building at the bottom. So
amazing. Yeah, well, it actually, if you step back and squint your eyes, it looks like a continent or something, or an island a little bit. Yeah.
Yes. But I love the shape.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow.
Yeah. Oh, what a great photo. Look at that. Yeah.
Well, I saw my friends, I looked into her sunglasses rather than her eyes, and I thought, oh my gosh, please, may I?
Oh, that's so fun.
Yes, yes. That's a self-portrait. That is my leg in the summertime.
Oh.
And the flowers tattooing
the shadow. Yes. That's a great statement right there.
So. So here I was in Massachusetts, where both of my parents are from, at Plymouth Plantation, and this is the kind of home that my Wampanoag forebears lived in. And it was made entirely out of reeds. In fact, they were drying reeds when I was there to make houses.
Wow.
And inside, it's rather large. Inside there are beds around the perimeter, and it's lovely. And I took it this way so that you wouldn't know in what time period this had been photographed. It could have been photographed 14,000 years ago. It could have been photographed today.
Mm-hmm.
That amazed me, because I was coming back from California and just taking photographs of the zippers on my purse and my luggage.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a close-up of a zipper. And what astonished me was, here, light, the matter became light.
Mm.
I mean, you can actually see that the filaments of light were transformed. And I don't know how that happened, but it was like, wow, this metal, you can see the energy of it.
It looks like it's under a microscope. Yeah.
Oh, well, then it finally happened.
Doesn't it? Yeah. Everything is light.
Yes.
Playing with light, reflecting off of light. And yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. It
Well,
was just a reminder that we're created out of light and love.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen photographic evidence of that before.
Yes. Well, this has just been so much fun. And I want to, before it's time to stop, I want to ask you, what advice do you have for someone out there who's maybe going through mental health struggles, depression, or just feeling frustrated or challenged? We certainly all are going through anxiety and challenges right now with this pandemic. And maybe having trouble expressing themselves. You found a way as a courageous, creative conqueror to express yourself, let your feelings out, and find community, and just find beauty and gratitude and love through your photography. What advice do you have for someone to take that step if they're feeling blocked creatively?
When I feel blocked creatively and I take a rest period, sometimes I go back and I look at photos that I've forgotten about and refresh my memory with, wow, I went here. This was beautiful. This was inspiring. I do research. I have a black and white photography group on Facebook, and study the different aspects of that creative process that you love. Learn about it, look at what other people are doing, and allow yourself to be inspired by new things, even as you're rejuvenating yourself.
That's really good advice. I like that. Find yourself inspired by new things. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even when things get rough, there's still creativity in all of us. It's always there.
How do you not miss a moment like the zipper? What do you do to prepare for creative moments so that you're alert and conscious and mindful?
That's what photography has done for me. It's helped me to open my eyes. So I try to make sure that my phone is charged.
That's a good tip. Yeah.
And I look for the unusual, something that I may not have been aware of before. In textiles, maybe try something new. Maybe, I never did it, but when I was knitting, I thought, wouldn't it be amazing to knit a tapestry? Because sometimes if we're open, these things will reveal themselves to us, even as we're on the lookout for them. If we're open to see things, sometimes they'll present themselves. And I do ask as well. I was at Independence Mall one day and I said, wasps, please, please. And some of them did come.
Yeah.
So ask, be willing and ready. And even if you don't see things, maybe something will catch your attention to inspire you for that next moment.
Yeah. And I think I love what you say. And I think also believing that we are a channel for creativity. We have to be ready and knowing that we can be used in that way.
Yes.
Accepting that as a role that we play, knowing that we are available and ready and prepared. Yeah.
Yes.
And being invited.
Yes. And it's helped heal me so much. And becoming aware that through it, maybe there's a modicum of healing for everybody.
And I think earlier you said something to me before we started. You said something like you felt honored and you asked permission before you take a photograph. You ask permission and you feel honored, like that the bee is inviting you to take the picture, kind of a thing. I think that's a wonderful tool for all of us to use to stop. You said rest, stop, pause, tune in to that greater wisdom and guidance, and listen and ask permission. Can I capture this moment? Whether it's in writing a poem, taking a photograph, singing a song, ask permission, tune in. I think that helps too.
Sometimes insects are busy. I've been told no, but it's because they're living their lives too.
Yes.
They have a reason and they have that right. And I'm glad that I can hear that.
You're very sweet and very considerate of the world and your place in it. And it's been a joy getting to know you. And you're an inspiration to so many people out there who have had a rocky road to walk on. And you found a way through the expressive arts, and it's just beautiful. And I'm so humbled and grateful to have experienced this journey with you and seen your artwork. So thank you so much for coming today and sharing with me. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, thank you, Jean. And I look forward to being inspired by the future creative conquerors whom I see on your page, because I get just as much out of everybody whom you highlight as maybe somebody will get from me.
Thank you.
I really appreciate everybody you touch and speak with.
Yes.
So thank you all.
Yes.
And thank you, Jean.
Thank you. Yeah, isn't that true? It's just, I get so much out of it, interviewing people and watching, and it's always uplifting and always a blessing. So thank you, and goodbye, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.